Good afternoon. I was going to say good morning. Good afternoon, everybody. And welcome to this transmission of Soul Center Success, the very, very first one of them all. Just want to make sure I am live in all the platforms. So, today I wanted to talk about forgiveness. And basically, I wanted to share with you a formula that I came up with to learn to forgive myself. And I did this through my self love journey. And the reason I did this is because I'm a nerd and I wanted to figure out a way where I can remember the steps that actually work for me so I can forgive myself. And why forgiveness is so important to begin with. Forgiveness is so important because when you don't forgive yourself, well, first, you are not expressing self love. But also what happens is that you house all kind of emotions that are not in vibrationally match with the things that you want to create in your life. Abundance, more money, better relationships, a happy life, etc. Because when you don't forgive yourself, you are mostly living in shame, guilt, resentment, etc. So I figure that I need to learn to forgive myself. And what I came up with is with a very good description or definition that has the steps for forgiveness. And that's what I want to share with you. So here you go. Forgiveness, for those of you who are in Facebook or YouTube, you can see it. For TikTok and Instagram, I'm going to read it to you. So forgiveness is the conscious, deliberate decision to let go of resentment towards a person or a group of people or even yourself that, harm you, regardless of whether it makes sense or not. And I am actually going to break down each of these terms because that is the how you forgive yourself. So I'm going to repeat it one more time. For TikTok, it's the conscious, deliberate decision, and Instagram, the conscious, deliberate decision to let go of feelings of resentment, regardless whether or not makes sense for you to forgive those people or yourself. So if you have any comments, be sure to put them in the comments so I can answer as I go. That would be fantastic. Okay, so there's so many keywords, like very specific, important keywords in this definition. And I want to make sure I touch upon them because that is how you're going to learn to forgive yourself. So the very first one is conscious. So conscious means when you are aware of a decision that you're making, when you decide to do something consciously, right? No one pushes you to do it. You're not under the influence when you're doing it. And you are actually doing it because you want to. So forgiveness is a conscious decision, right? So I want to ask you a question. It's like a coaching question time. Can you think of the last time you actually make a conscious decision to do something? And if you can put it in the comments, that would be fantastic. And I'm checking here in Facebook to make sure the comments over there and in TikTok. So one example that I can think of when it comes to being like a conscious decision is, for instance, you decide to go on a diet, right? You might not like the journey of not being able to eat everything you want, or even going into doing exercises. You might not want to go to the gym every day, but you consciously decided that is the best thing for you. So the same thing comes with forgiveness. You consciously deciding that this is what you need to do for yourself. Forgive yourself. So I invite you to ponder upon that question when perhaps you don't want to forgive yourself. Then it comes deliberate. So deliberate means that you have weighted options, right? So it's like the basic pros and cons when it comes to making a decision. And so again, question for you, the coaching question for you is, can you recall the last time that you decided to make a move from a deliberate perspective? In other words, you weighted your pros and cons and you decided, this is the way I'm going to go. So when it comes to forgiveness, and one of the things I help my clients with, and I went through this process myself, but this is what I know how to do it, is, okay, forgiveness could be a painful thing because you have to face the fact that you are human and that you made a mistake, right? So what would be the pros of forgiving yourself? Tell me in the comments what you think that could be a pro of forgiving yourself. Right. It will help you feel better about yourself. It will bring you happiness. It will bring you peace. It will give you freedom because you're not tied or bound down to the feeling of, shame or guilt that comes with resentment. And it will make you feel loved. All these things are great. Now, what are the cons that can come with forgiving yourself? Well, actually, let's twist that. What are the cons that will come with not forgiving yourself? Because what we want to do is to make sure you understand, your brain understand that forgiving yourself is the best way to go. So if you don't forgive yourself, you might never be able to let go of shame. And that is a very, very low vibration. If you don't forgive yourself, you might have unhealed trauma for a long time, because resentment comes from unhealed trauma. This trauma can be, someone bullied you, or someone didn't treat you the way you deserve, or they didn't show you love, and you reacted in a particular way. If you don't forgive yourself, you continue to be apart, vibrationally speaking, from the things that you want in life the most. And another one, very big, is that you might never be able to be happy. And so why is it important to be happy? It's because everything you want in life, the money, the partner, the travel, the better job, the better business, whatever it is that you want in life, you want it because you think that by having that thing, you're going to be happy. So the soul search for abundance, or, the pursuit of everything you want, is because you want to be happy with it. And when you don't forgive yourself for whatever flaws you have might committed in the past, hey, we're humans, right? Is preventing you from happiness. Then the third word is decision, right? Conscious, deliberate decision. And so a decision, it's a conclusion that you reach after you have deliberated, after you have, made a commitment to do it. So what happens when you forgive yourself? What happens if you don't forgive yourself? These are questions that you can start asking yourself. So it will help you move towards the, outside of your comfort zone, that fear-based situation where it's like, ooh, I never have forgiven myself. I have to face all these things that I did. That is what we're doing, right? Trying to reprogram your brain so forgiveness actually comes like something that you want to do. And then it comes a big word, release, right? Conscious, deliberate decision to release. So release is to let go. It's to set free the shame, the guilt, the sorrow, the hurt, the hate, the anger, the resentment, all those yucky feelings that you have for yourself or for others that are keeping you in all those low vibrations. Because you just hear those words, how they feel to you, right? They're all low vibrational words that, again, are so far apart from the abundance, the joy, the happiness, the money, the relationships, everything that you want that's up here. So release. How do you release? Well, release comes from changing your rules, from pattern interrupting your thoughts, from changing the beliefs that you have made about certain situations. And that's one of the things I do with my clients. Help them pattern interrupt their thoughts, change their belief, rewrite the rules so they can become a new person with a whole new set of beliefs and rules, and so they can let go of the things that are keeping them stuck. It's one of the hardest things to do, and that's why most people can't forgive themselves. It's because they don't know how to let go, and it's because there's all this trauma around, the heart chakra or in their subconscious mind that prohibits them from letting go of the things. It's usually like they want to know why this happened, or they want the other person to own their fault and ask for forgiveness. But the reality is that you really don't need the other person recognition to let go. The same way with you. You don't need to necessarily try to make things better if you actually did something bad. Because all you have to do is love yourself the way you are. That's part of the forgiveness. And then it comes resentment. So, because we want to have a conscious, deliberate decision to let go or to release of resentment. So, what is resentment? This is super key here, so I wanted to pay attention. Because resentment is a multi-layer emotion made up for the accumulation and build-up of anger, disappointment after disappointment, because of high expectations, because of abandonment, because of fear, because of trauma. It all comes down to trauma, right? So this resentment that has been just like a pressure cooker building up in your life over and over and over, year after year, needs to be released. But like a pressure cooker, it needs to be done very carefully, because we don't want to stir up all the trauma you might have in your subconscious mind, in your heart, right? But I always say that resentment is such a silent killer of all types of relationships. If you have any resentment built up with, let's say, your spouse or your parents or some friends or your kids or yourself, it's very, very hard to just look the other way, right? You have to do the deep work. You have to find the roots of why this resentment was created, and you have to pull it from the root. Because if you just keep pruning around and pretending that this thing is not really deep in your heart, it's going to keep showing up. It's going to cost you everything you want. It's going to hurt all your relationships. Because remember that the most important relationship that you can ever have is the relationship with yourself, right? So this resentment is one feeling that you have to be very careful with. It's very low vibrationally speaking. And you don't really think that you're resentful towards yourself, but a lot of people are. And then at the end, we have regardless. So regardless is a very powerful statement, because regardless means that, maybe it doesn't make sense for you to forgive yourself. Maybe you actually were a very bad person. Maybe you actually screw up a lot. Maybe you hurt people. But here you are today, wanting to make a new life. And everyone has the right to change and to have a better life, right? If you agree with that, give me some hearts. And so you have all this history, all this baggage, all these reasons why you shouldn't forgive yourself, right? Well, this is where the regardless comes into place, because regardless, it just means that you are going to forgive yourself whether it makes sense or not. We're not going to ask your ego, your head, if we should forgive ourselves. You're not going to ask your ego if you should forgive yourself. You're going to ask your heart if you should forgive yourself. And your heart is always going to say yes to that question. So forgiveness is the first step, is the foundation towards self-love and acceptance. And forgiveness is the foundation to anything that you want, to the manifestation of anything you want. Because if you join late, let me repeat that for you. When you don't forgive yourself and you're stuck in the shame and the guilt and the anger and the resentment, then you can be a vibrational match to everything you want, right? You hear everyone talking about manifestation, that you have to be a vibrational match of what you want. But you can be a vibrational match the one you want when you don't love yourself. Does that make sense? I'm sure it does. So here's the thing, I have prepared for you a free guide. It's 22 pages long where I'm explaining all these steps very much in detail. And so if you want it, let me know, and I'm going to put the link in the comment here so you can access it. That is for Facebook, for YouTube, and for LinkedIn. If you want it in Instagram or TikTok, just let me know. TikTok, let me know in the comments right now, and I'll get you access to it. In Instagram, just send me a message for it, and I will get it to you as well. And let me know if you have any questions in the comments before I go. Otherwise, it is time to start letting go of all that resentment and forgive yourself. This is the season, right? To love and to give. And what a better gift can you give to yourself than forgiveness? Your life is going to change dramatically, and you'll see how it will transform. And so let's do it. It's time to do it. Okay? I love you. I'll see you tomorrow.